Oh yeah, we back. We good. We back. Y'all know what's going on, man. It's your boy K Trades, aka OK Bet. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to call me, type shit. Y'all know what's going on. But look, man, Friday was crazy, right? Friday was amazing. We finally got that gap fill, right? We got puts at the as soon as the gap filled, caught puts, right? Bought calls at the absolute low. As soon as it tested previous day's high, bought calls, held to high day, smack, right? Super simple day. Basically, it repeated last Friday, right? This Friday, right, we had hourly range, swept the bottom, swept the top, went down. Last week, swept the bottom, swept the top, went down, right? It was 1-1, right? It was a super simple day. But are we back, man? It's been a long weekend, Memorial, holiday and stuff like that. I'm actually in Miami right now. So, I'm still enjoying my vacation, but, I got to come on here and, make sure I drop y'all some bars, man, some bangers. So we're going to go over basically what happened, like I said, and then we'll get into the game plan going into Tuesday, May 26th. So let's get it, man. Let's get straight into it. And y'all know I like y'all for real because I'm doing this while the game is on and stuff like that. So, I really rock with y'all. So anyway, let's get straight into it. So, boom. Oh, by the way, we have gapped up officially to new all-time highs, right? Overnight, that's what this big candle is representing. Currently, as soon as pre-market opened, overnight's trading, we are at 751.50, right? So roughly in that range. So I put this here for illustration purposes only, right? To kind of show basically what has already happened. So if you were unaware, Trump, Iran, what they do every week, we deal, no deal, no deal. So they officially are in deal stage right now. So of course, market is pumping up, right? So as of now, we are at 751, right? But like I said, let's get into yesterday or Friday's first. So Friday, we had the gap fill, right? Gap fill rejection, probably one of the easiest plays ever. As soon as the gap fill, right, we sold the calls that we swung. Because remember, we talked about we swung calls, right, going into that gap. So we swung them, and then we bought calls at the low as soon as it tested that previous day's high. Because we knew as long as previous day's high and previous day's close held, then we should have a bullish, reaction off of that. Because even though, yes, we closed that gap, and even though that gap did cause a $10 dump the first time, right, we don't always have to, do the exact same thing. But we knew that there were sellers waiting there. So, we took that sell, we took those shorts, and that was a pretty nice move, man. I'm not going to lie. The calls were a lot simpler. It was barely any drawback for real. Bought down here, and then just held them, right? So, and then, like I said, towards the end of the day, we had that little sell-off rejection, whatever, into the after hours where we started to dip. And now, as of now, right, we're sitting at 751.50. So, let's just go over the game plan, basically saying if we do hold this gap up into new all-time highs and basically continue with the bullish game plan I've been telling y'all for weeks, right? You go to my very first video I ever posted on here, and I was telling y'all, hey, if it's bullish, just buy. Right, you have to expect the best, and prepare for the worst, but expect the best, man. It is what it is, man. We're in a bull market, so you can't fight bull trends. So let's get straight into it, right? So boom, let's say we open up right where we are now, right, over previous all-time highs. We already would know that previous day's high. Oh, my fault. Vacation got me can't even draw, right? Previous day's high and what previous day's close? Previous day's close, right? So obviously you wouldn't want it to come all the way down to previous day's close, but if it did, right, come down to previous day's close, as long as previous day's close can hold, right, get back above that previous day's high, and we do eventually hold, all-time high, we should, continue up, right? Where we have blue sky territory, so there's no true way to tell, right? I got a few charts on here with some upper targets, saying, like this one, if we were to continue inside of this range that we've been in, right? Remember this one? Remember this chart I've been showing y'all for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks now? So remember, resistance up here, we came, initially got the tap, we got back in. So now if we do, continue in the same channel, then, realistically, if we open up right here, look how that adds up, right? 751. So if we do add up, if we do hold this level, then like I said, blue sky territory, but 751, 752, 753, 750, you know what I'm saying? Like, we really don't know. We're going to have to wait to see how the price action reacts at all-time high levels. But a way to be able to do that, right, is to turn your extended hours on. So when you have your extended hours on, you'll be able to see, little moves here and there, basically what happened in pre-market. And those candles, even though you may think, oh, well, it's just pre-market, doesn't count. No, it still does, right? Because we've been able to use pre-market clues the whole ride up. Because like I said, we're at all-time highs. We don't really have levels, right? Over here, perfect example. Once we broke this over here, this is all pre-market. We gapped up slightly, held that previous day's high in pre-market, popped, and then all we did was come back to test. So when we popped the first time, any dip, in theory, should hold. So we did, and we held those calls. So yeah, you can use your pre-market levels because if it's holding or rejecting certain key levels in pre-market, if we revisit them, then you can kind of expect the same reaction unless shown otherwise, right? So you can use the pre-market levels same way you can use, your 4-hour, your daily, anything else. You just gotta be up early enough to, make sure y'all are putting in that work, putting in them chart hours to continue to find your levels, right? Because they're not going to be given to you. The levels, I'm not always going to be here, to be able to be like, hey, this is the levels, this is what you do every single day, right? I'm not always going to be able to do that. And besides, you shouldn't even want me to be able to do this for you every single day, right? I'm here to help y'all, but at the end of the day, this is a skill that I want y'all to learn. This is why I take the time out to make these videos. So anyway, if this does hold, right, let's say we open up and we hold. Pre-market's holding pretty good and we get some sort of, pop or whatever. If we were to hold anything above all-time high, right, and initially where the pre-market will sit, then like I said, calls with time, I don't know. Like I said, where the targets could be, right? We could go to 7, we can go to 800, but I don't know, right? We don't know. So we're just gonna have, like I said, continue to hold price action, buy time, be very careful. Buying if you're new, all-time highs up here. I mean, if you're new long up here, right? You want to see some pullbacks, right? That's always going to be the best entry for longs. Now, shorts, same thing. If we do get back below previous day's high, or previous all-time high, and get back below Friday, I keep saying yesterday, but Friday's high, then, like I said, you can watch for that range rotation right back down into that 745-ish level. And then we do have this gap in between 744 and 742, which is basically Thursday's close and Friday's low. So between Friday's low and Thursday's close, there's still a little gap down there. So if they did want to go down there first, that honestly would be a good place to buy. Like I said, if the price action does hold and everything's good, right, and you continue to pop out of there, right, then it would give you some sort of giant, cup and handle, right, which kind of got drawn here. So if we do get some sort of retest, that would be, I'd be a lot more, ready to buy some calls. But if it just keeps going all-time highs, like I said, I did swing calls over the weekend. We swung 755s for Wednesday and then 750s for tomorrow, Tuesday. So yeah, and I kept getting the dates messed up. So if you were on live, that's my fault. But yeah, so we did talk about swinging those calls. So if they print it open, I'm gonna have to take that profit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to take that, and yeah, we'll just see. We'll see how price action plays out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like you don't wanna, you don't wanna go too crazy, but at the same time, watch your weekly high, your weekly close, your weekly lows, and that's the worst case scenario. Let's say like all of this is just gets wiped out, right? We lose 740, we lose the gap. We lose that, we come down 740. We lose 740, right? You have that 737 major levels. So anything below, I would say 731. Because anything in here, honestly, people are already trying to call the double top, but we would have to lose previous week's low for this to officially be called a double top, right? If everyone sees it, it's probably not going to happen. The same way everyone saw this head and shoulders, right? Everybody saw this head and shoulders, psych, and then it went up, right? So the same way, right? People are already on Twitter, oh, double top, it's over, sell it up. Oh. No, we got to lose previous 2 weeks low because we had the same low. This was this 2 weeks ago low, and this is last week's low. So 731 is a major level to the downside if at any point, we do go down that low. But like I said, we're here every day, right? Even though I'm in Miami on vacation, I know I live in, in a constant state of perpetual vacation. But, yeah, I'm always going to be here, to get that work in. And, it's like putting up shots, right? You don't make it to the NBA and stop putting up shots. So I'm not going to stop putting up shots, on the chart. So, like I said, we're going to keep, putting it all together, keep putting together a game plan. And, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Yeah, be careful. Like I said, just be careful. Now that we are at all-time high, you're going to have to be a lot more patient, right, with these candles. Because you could kind of like get something like this, right, where we gapped up into all-time high. Everybody was already trying to sell at the first bite. As soon as it got the first dip, everybody trying to sell, and then it just absolutely squeezed all day. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, be very careful, and not trying to call these tops and do this. It's better to, just be like a piece of trash floating in the river. You know what I'm saying? You just going with the flow. You know what I'm saying? You can't control nothing. You can't do nothing about nothing. You just gotta, do what you can. You just float, catch vibes. So let's keep catching these vibes, man, catching these dubs, and yeah, I'll probably go live a little bit this week. Like I said, I'll be in Miami all week, so we'll get in where we fit in, So I appreciate y'all, like, sub, turn on the notifications. So when I do go live, because I'm probably not going to tell y'all, I'm going to just see something and be like, yeah, we got to go live right now. So yeah, y'all do that, and I'll see y'all. Peace.